Hi there, my name's Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today is another Thursday. It's May the 20th. Can you believe it? Once again. It's great to be here. I'm really enjoying these live gear showcases because I think, of course, I make the videos, demos and reviews for the channel, but I like to go live and hang out on a Thursday and also talk about experiences with gear that I've had for a while. So I have reviewed today's products before. I have interviewed the company live on the channel before. You can check those videos out later on, please do. But I want to just talk casually about my experience with the gear, why I use it, how I've used it over the years with some of these longer running products that I've been using for a long time, and also just take any questions that you might have. And this will generally be gear that I really think is fantastic, that like I said, I've used for many years and is tried and tested. I was just thinking today, maybe I'll have some gear on that wasn't so good. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the weeks go by. But today is going to be Peterson tuners, and my Peterson tuner looks like this. It's a very, very cool product. Now I want to go all the way back to when I discovered these. What are they? When did I discover them? How have I used them? Why do I like them? How do they work? And give you an example of how it works and how I like it. So I remember going all the way back to my days in London when I was gigging. I was at university and I started like a covers duo, and I needed a tuner. Pretty obvious story, right? Nothing very interesting about that. And I can't remember why I chose a Peterson. I think the bass player said that they're a good tuner. I think that's how. And this was so long ago, I honestly can't remember. But yeah, it was in that duo, and I ordered one, and it was this blue tuner. And the reason that I remember thinking it would be a good idea is that it had a DI on it as well. And I've actually found a picture of this tuner, so I'm going to put it up on the screen just for a little history lesson. This is what it looked like. This wasn't mine, by the way. This is one that I found on reverb.com. Now, it was really cool because it was battery powered. You can see the battery compartment on the side, and it had an XLR out on the back. And if you play acoustic guitar, you'll know it's really good to have an XLR out on your tuner because you can go straight to the PA system like a DI box. And I wasn't using effects and things back then, so I thought this would be ideal. This could be my tuner and my DI. And it wasn't cheap. I remember, well, I can't remember exactly what the price was, but it wasn't cheap. But it was an investment, and since I didn't have a ton of pedals, I thought, well, this will be my pedal. This will be the pedal that I use. And I got it. And it didn't take me long to figure out how to tune with it. I've since spoke to some people that say they don't really get how to use a strobe tuner. I remember one guy tried one and just threw it, sort of cast it aside immediately and said, oh, I can't use this. I'll just use my snark. Okay. Randolph said he listened to a bass player. That was my good friend James. Yes, he was worth listening to. He's a good guy. But anyway, hi Randolph, welcome. So, where was I? This tuner. Yeah, I remember. I'll come back to this point that some people said it was difficult to use. I don't think it is, and I'll show you how I use it later on in case you've never used one. And I didn't find that to be a problem. The problem I found with this version here is that the screen peeled away. Can you see that screen? It's like a piece of plastic on the top there. That screen would start to peel. Now, it wasn't really a problem. I would just push it back down again. It wasn't really a problem. And I used this tuner for a long time. But I remember that screen used to peel off. This is not the current model, so I don't mind saying this. It's much improved since this version. But I remember that about the pedal. But I used that pedal for a long time, and it did a lot of gigs. And it served me very, very well. So, a few years after that, I needed a tuner again. Probably after, again, we're talking a long time ago, but I owned that for a while. I then owned this version for a while. This was like the version 2. In fact, you can see on there, look, version 2, okay? So again, DI on the back, big screen, and the button is a mute button as well. So very, very useful. Hi, Warren, how you doing? Now we're talking about bass players. Let me know in the chat if you've used one of these. I'd like to know what your thoughts are. I know, tuners, I bet a lot of people are not interested at all. I actually think this is really important. I think being in tune is really important. Now we could go into a whole discussion about, well, the guitar is never perfectly in tune with itself anyway, so what's the point? I had one colleague years ago that told me he prefers not to be perfectly in tune. This could be a good conversation to have. Do you think being perfectly in tune is a bad thing? Okay, so we can't ever be perfectly in tune. The scale is not a perfect thing. Like with the piano, when they tune your piano, it's compensated, right? It's not perfectly tuned. It cannot be. You have to tune it in tune with itself. And same with the guitar. And then the humidity and strings are going to go out of tune anyway. Is there such a thing? And many people have tried to fix this with the compensated nuts and things like that. You can buy I can't think what it's called now. Nirvana compensated nut system to make it perfectly. Whatever. I just think being in tune, even in standard tuning with a standard guitar, is very important to me anyway. So this was the version 2. And I own this one as well. I remember thinking, good, the screen won't peel away. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe I upgraded thinking the screen won't peel off. To be honest with you, I can't remember if the screen peeled off or not. But, and I don't know if I prefer the grey or the blue. That's really not important anymore because they don't make this version now. One thing that I've just noticed though is that the font was different back then. And I had a whole thing about the font for a while, but I won't talk about that today. But this was a great pedal. It looked great. It worked great. Look at that. Big screen. Really, really, really cool. They also had the clip-on tuner. Today I'm showing you the current version of the clip-on tuner and the pedal version, and I think they're much improved. Hey Scott, what's going on? I'll just say hi to everyone. So Randolph, thank you. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Warren is here. What's the time where you are, Warren? I assume it's very, very early, right? How do you know when the stage is level? Drool comes out of both sides of the bass player's mouth. Thank you. I'm here every night. I'm here all week. Come see me again. Yeah, Randolph liked that one. Hey, nothing against bass players. We need bass players out there. Scott, how you doing? Good to see you. And Warren says, I tried compensated nuts for a while and was not a big fan. Yeah, people try and do these things, don't they? They try and do like all these different compensations and fan frets. And then you get things like the Evertune, which promises your guitar never to go out of tune. These things come and go. But I think these tuners are here to stay. A couple of side notes. There was a computer version of this tuner, which was very good. It's not supported anymore. There is an iPhone app. So I highly recommend everyone buys one of these. But if you want to check it out first, if you've got a cell phone, do a search for Peterson. I can't do it right now because I'm using my phone as a camera. But if you search for Peterson, there's an app. And for a very moderate fee, your phone will turn into one of these tuners. So I do have that as a backup, and I carry that around with me. I think that's really, really important. Okay. I shall show you mine in a second, but Warren says it's 9:22 a.m. in Australia. Very early, Warren. It's 7:23 here in New York. Scott said, I've heard on the Acoustic Guitar Forum that the clip-on Petersons, which is this one, have some sort of simulation going on. Is that true? How do they compare to conventional tuners? Well, quick disclaimer. I'm good friends with Peterson. I made friends with them through going to the NAMM shows, the big NAMM convention in Nashville and California. And like I said, I'd used their products before I met the guys, but I remember walking along and seeing the Peterson booth and saying to Chris was sitting there, and I was talking to him about the tuners, and they just released this one. And then at the winter show, they were making this other one, this pedal version, which I'm going to show you. Looks like this. Maybe I'll put it up on the screen so you can see it. It looks great. Doesn't it look fantastic? I apologize for the reflections, but it's a great looking pedal. It's a big improvement on the original version that I showed you. It looks great. It's high quality. It's steel. There's no plastic screen that will peel off. It's all like it's the real deal. You know, it's really great. It's a great tuner, and I absolutely love it. I'll talk more about that in a second. But he did tell me, because I was saying to him, well, a lot of pedals now have a strobe mode. Like the Helix has, the Line 6 Helix has a strobe mode. So why do you need one of these? And he said, well, it's not a real strobe tuner. It's a strobe mode. So the screen looks like a strobe tuner, but it's not actually true strobe. Now, I have tested the Helix one. I have to say it's very good. The reason I don't like that very much is that you can't have it on while you're playing. The great thing with this pedal tuner here is that if you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, it can always be on. The screen can always be on. It's battery powered or powered by the power supply, which I'm using today. But if you want to, you can have it set up so when you press the button, it mutes like this. And when you press it again, you get the sound, but you still have the screen. So even if you're playing the gig, the thing is still going. I really like that with the tuner. I don't know if it's just me, but some of those, like the Helix doesn't do that, and it really bugs me. The Kemper and the FM3 and the Axe Effects have that mode. They always have the tuner on. Obviously, it's a smaller screen than this, and I really appreciate this big screen. But I've actually been using this all the time, this pedal, because I just love having a tuner in front of me. Now, maybe some people don't need that. Maybe some people don't need to see what their tuning is. Maybe some people have perfect pitch, fantastic intonation. I get it. But for me, the level I'm at, the tuner is really invaluable. I love it. And even just to tune up. And of course, to make YouTube videos, I have to be in tune. How many videos have you watched where the guitar is slightly out of tune? It drives me crazy. So I use this all the time for my YouTube videos. And this one I probably use the most. I use this all the time, like every single day. In fact, this is the one I'll recommend. It's really nice. It's really nice. I put my my links below to Sweetwater with it. But look, it's the same kind of good quality screen. And to answer your question, Scott, I don't know. When the strobe tuners first came out, they were the big mechanical devices that you see. We talked about this in our video with Chris Labriola last year. I wish they were here actually. I could ask them. I don't know, but all I know is it's really good. It's really, really good. And I didn't want to come on today and do a comparison to other tuners. I don't really think that's fair. But I have done that myself. You know, maybe do this. If you get one of these, compare it to your other tuners and see how good it is. See how accurate and fast it is. I've not found anything else that's as fast or accurate. There are some other strobe tuners out there. There's not many apps, actually, which is really interesting. There's one other brand of strobe tuner, which I do like, but the screen isn't as good for me. But I do like them. But they don't make the clip-on tuner. So Peterson have got you covered with the floor tuner and the clip-on tuner. Things that it does that I don't use myself is it also has alternate tunings. Okay, so it stores, both of these tuners store alternate tunings if you want to do that stuff. I don't do that stuff. I'm still learning to play in standard tuning. But if you want to go down that route, you can store that. And also what they call sweetened tunings as well. So all you do is when you turn it on, if you press the button again, I'm going to show you on the screen, 1 second. Like I say, I never do it, so I have to figure out how to do it. But basically there's different, of course you can change it from 440 to 441, 442, but you can also change to other kinds of tunings. Of course, now I can't do it. Now I don't actually want to do it. I can't figure out how to do it. But you can change this mode here to other kinds of tunings. You see, that's the standard mode there. So it stores. Actually, I might have deleted them. I think I deleted them. Another really cool thing with these products is if you plug them in via USB to Google Chrome, you can update the firmware and edit the modes. And I think what I did with this one is I deleted those other modes because I didn't want to accidentally select them. Yes, I do believe that's true. But you can do all that stuff if you want to too, which a lot of basic tuners don't do. But even ignoring all that stuff, which I don't even use much, I just love it as a tuner. So let me show you why. Let me show you why I like it so much. Scott says the classic strobe Petersons cost thousands and used by orchestral players. Yeah, you're talking about the real, you're talking as the, can you hear the cat outside? You're talking about the real old school. You know, I gave them dinner and they still want to come in. But if you own cats, you know that you can't have cats around guitars, unfortunately. I'll just quickly show you this. Hey, they have this one on Sweetwater as well, if you're interested. This is $832. Let me show you this one on the screen quickly. Because I've never used this one actually. This is interesting. Okay, you want a real strobe tuner? If you really want the real deal, then you buy one of these for over $800. There you go. That's a real strobe tuner. You see the screen? It's a physical device, right? That's a real old school Peterson tabletop strobe tuner if you want the real deal. But I don't want to spend, I mean, I like Peterson, but I don't want to buy an $800 tuner for myself. I'm perfectly happy with this one here. All right, Warren says, I've had several versions of Peterson tuners. I've liked them all. Very good. Looks great. All right, cool. So let me show you how it works. I've got myself plugged in here. Let me just make sure you can hear me first of all. So I was going to start this video today by doing something like this. Wow, almost sounds like a chorus pedal, doesn't it? Crazy. All right, so let me show you how fast this is. So I'm gonna pick the string here, and like I said, if you don't want to hear the sound, you can mute it. But you still see what's going on, which is really great because you can just leave this running all the time if you want to. Or you can make it so it turns off. It's up to you. I have mine on all the time so I can always see what's going on. So this is what kind of confuses people. You see what's happening there? The string is flat, right? I tuned the high E string down. So it's spinning to the left. So if it spins to the left, it's flat. And if it spins to the right, it's sharp. I tuned the B string up. Now, can you see that? Some people that I've met in the past have not liked this. They can't get their head around it. And I'm not knocking them. I guess I am a little bit, but no, I'm not knocking them. But the thing is, you get used to what you get used to, right? If you own a Boss tuner or a certain tuner and you get used to using that for years, and then you come to use one of these, I can see why it takes some adjusting to. But I think you just have to practice with it for a few hours, and then you're fine. And then I think you'll really like it. In my opinion, I really like it anyway. I don't know, but there we go. That string is flat. What I love about this is that it's, first of all, it's fast, right? It finds that thing straight away. Some tuners that I've used, especially some tuners that are built into acoustic guitars, they're not very fast. They just hunt around for the note forever and they can't find what the note is. This thing is like straight away, it's got it, right? Now you can see that it's flat. So all I'm going to do is turn the string sharp. So I'm going to tune the string up. And what happens is it starts to slow down. So it's still going to the left, but it's not going as fast. And what you do is you keep going until it stops. See that? So that's perfectly in tune. And something I've learned over the years is you don't have to get it so every string is perfectly in tune like that. What I tell people is that when the wheel is spinning slightly, you're probably still more in tune than other tuners are that say you're in tune. It's actually really interesting. It's actually really interesting to tune with your tuner that you own now and then compare it to this. Yeah. And to see how accurate your tuner really is. Hey, I'm not saying they're all terrible. Actually, over the years, guitar tuners have gotten a lot better. There's only a few out there that are pretty terrible, especially some of the ones that are kind of thrown in with the preamps on acoustic guitars. Some of those are pretty terrible. I definitely think they've improved over the years, and I definitely think it's not the problem it used to be, but I still love this one. I still love it. So I'll do some more tuning in a second to show you how it works. Hi, Thorgonaut. Good to see you here. What's up, Aaron? Good to see you. On the subject of tuners, what's the best clip-on tuner on the market? Well, it's funny you asked me that. It's almost like I asked you to come and ask me that question. No, but I didn't. The best clip-on tuner on the market is this. I enjoyed that because, you know, when people ask me what's the best, sometimes I just can't answer. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't know. I'm still trying to decide for myself. But I would say this is the best clip-on tuner on the market. And like I said, if you're going to get one, I've got my. If you're in USA, Sweetwater have them. I put my affiliate link below. And if you're anywhere else, I've got links with Thomann, Amazon. Just click the link below my video right now and order from there. I get a affiliation commission at no expense to you. That's the only plug I'll do today, by the way. But yeah, honestly, if you haven't got one of these, you should get one. Look, it's got the rubber pad there, so it doesn't mark the guitar. It's got the big screen. And like I said, most importantly, it works really fast. And they're a great company. They've also updated the firmware. I remember when this one first came out, I think it took a while to turn on or something like that. And then within a few months, they'd updated the firmware. And now they sped up the process, basically, and now it works great. So it's a great time to buy one. I will cover that in a second. Let me go back to this one again, because I like to get my guitar in tune. This is my Mexican Stratocaster. And that E is, look at that. You will never see an E string more in tune than that, my friends. Now, could you hear that? That's sharp, and you can see it spinning to the right. So if it spins to the right, then you're sharp. Now, tune down so it goes flat, and then tune it up. You know that? If you don't do that, the string can slip. Our good friend Jerry Cherry, who frequents the channel sometimes, I think he's playing on his channel right now, but Jerry Cherry told me a story where John Mayer was doing that on stage. He was tuning down to the note, and apparently the legend goes that Jerry Cherry advised John Mayer to tune up to pitch. That's why they call it tuning up, by the way. When they say, I'm going to tune up my guitar, that's what they mean. So you go below the note and come up again. Look at that, perfect. Like I said, it takes some practice, but let me check the other strings then. Here's the D. Look at that. That's impressive. Wow, I was already in tune. Slightly flat. And one more. Slightly. Like I said, that's probably as in tune as some other tuners. I mean, if it's like that, I would be okay with that. If I was recording, I might take the time to get them all completely stationary. So let's take a listen to the guitar. So you press the mute button, you'll hear the sound. Very nice. Remember, the guitar is not a perfect instrument. Have you ever noticed when you play an open D chord that it never quite sounds in tune? So, some people might say, well, if you can never really get the guitar in tune, what's the point? That's a good question. Well, you can get as in tune as you possibly can, I guess is my point. Wow. Actually, I really heard, let me just check the tuning again, because I really heard that being out of tune. Don't forget as well, as you tune, the other strings might go out of tune. And so you need to then tune again. Once you've tuned perfectly, you really want to tune another time. That's not in at all, is it? that's crazy. That might be my guitar. So something else you can do is check your intonation. There we go. My intonation's off on the guitar. So these are great for doing intonation as well, for checking and fixing intonation. What intonation is the 12th, the guitar up here is out of tune with itself. So on the 12th fret, can you see that B is flat? And on open string, right, so I need to fix, I should have checked this before the show. The intonation is off, so whatever I do is going to be out of tune anyway. So fix the intonation, and you'll notice a lot of guitar techs use these strobe tuners for intonation because they are more accurate. If you fix the intonation up here, see that one's sharp, that one's sharp, that one's in tune, that one's in tune, that one's flat, and that one's flat. But open, that one's in tune, 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 and that one's in tune. So that's a different problem. That's a different issue. I need to fix the intonation on the guitar. And without this strobe tuner, well, I would have known I had an intonation problem because you can hear it, right? But the strobe tuners are excellent for checking your intonation. And what you have to do is get the tool here on the saddle and adjust the tuning here at the saddle so it's in tune up here and down there. I'm sure you've done that before. If you've never done that, then do it. It's really worth it. But again, if you're going to do it, use the strobe tuner to fix your intonation because it's going to be super, super accurate. So this is probably a really bad guitar to demo this with. Because whatever I do, it's going to be out of tune. So having said that, let me grab my other guitar and we'll check the intonation on that one. This has now become a talk about intonation. I'll be right back. All right, I grabbed this is my old Telecaster Deluxe. This was set up about a year ago. I don't play it very often. So let's see what the intonation is like on this guitar. So again, that's slightly flat. That's in tune. That's slightly flat. That's in tune. Slightly flat, in tune. Pretty impressive. I haven't played this for a long time. That doesn't mean the intonation will be good though. Let's see. I hope it will be. Okay, let's check up here. See? See, better. Ooh, actually. Look at that. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, I think this will sound better. Let's try it. We got it. We got it. So do me a favor, grab your tuner, check your intonation right now and tell me if your intonation is in or not. I'm kind of worried about myself now that I didn't realize it was. I've been playing this guitar all day and I just figured out the intonation's off. Oh dear, that's not good. This one sounds a lot better. You know, I've actually had a ton of issues with this guitar and yet I love it. I keep playing. Have you ever played a guitar like that? The guitar has some weird noises occasionally, and some stuff with the tuning, and then the intonation. There's always little niggling things that keep happening, and yet that's the guitar I keep picking up all the time. So yeah, this one there is good. That's a huge relief. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Okay. Warren says, I've put a few tuners in a signal chain and they are all different readings no matter where they are, but the Peterson seems to tune well no matter where it is. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Which tuner is accurate? I mean, I don't know. I'm stating here that these Peterson tuners are the most accurate. I've got no scientific evidence of that, but to my ear, they are, and the speed at which they respond is very impressive. That's why I like them. So Randolph is using a Dean Markley tuner. Okay, I haven't seen those. And then Aaron's in for a busy time after the show doing intonation work. Yeah, you know, it's funny, isn't it? Isn't it weird how you don't notice this stuff until you sit down and think about it? I had no idea that was out that bad. I guess I was playing today and just figured, well, I'm slightly out of tune. That this didn't really bother me. But when you sit down with a strobe tuner and you really check this stuff out, and you're like, yeah, that's pretty bad. This one is good. This is fine. But this stuff is really important, especially if you're recording. I mean, for anything, right? You don't want to be out of tune for anything, but especially if you're doing recordings, you don't want that sound on a well, I don't. Again, this is all subjective. Some people have told me in the past that being out of tune is a good thing. I don't agree. I want to be as in tune as I can. It says the D sounds much better. Yeah, isn't it funny? This is my kind of least favorite guitar. It has some sentimental value, and it is a great guitar. But this is it's a big neck on here. It's very heavy. This is the guitar that I use the least, and yet the intonation is so much better. Like I said, it's so weird with guitars. Sometimes I'm kind of attracted to the ones that are a problem, like this one. I'm sure it can be fixed, but I know some guitars just seem to be a pain all the time. Oh, Richard said old strings are hard to intonate. Yes, that's the other thing. Those strings are pretty old on that guitar. That could be the problem. Hi, Bimo. Peterson headstock, yeah. The other thing is, if we talk a lot about acoustic guitars on here, on this channel, if you're shopping for an acoustic guitar, also do that intonation test, because it's kind of harder to intonate an acoustic guitar than it is to intonate an electric guitar. With an electric guitar, all this stuff can be fixed. With an acoustic, you have to compensate by shaving the saddle, filing the saddle. That's not fun. I wouldn't even do that myself, and I'm sure a lot of techs wouldn't really want to do it. So when you buy an acoustic, especially an expensive one, check the intonation with a strobe tuner. That's another reason to carry a strobe tuner around, because you can check the intonation on the tuner. Bimo says close enough for jazz. Yeah. No, Bimo, I don't know if you just got here, but it was not good when I just did the Stratocaster behind me. In fact, that guitar might be going. It's kind of a hassle. Dan says, I use a polytune for my... Oh, but just to clarify, bad intonation does not mean the guitar is bad. I'm just saying I keep having issues with that guitar. Dan says, I use a polytune for my big board and a Korg on my little board. Both have a strobe function. Yeah, Dan, I was just saying that the strobe function isn't always a true strobe. It's just a way of visualizing it on the screen. The polytune I wanted to like, that's the one where you play all the strings and it shows them all on the screen at once. But I didn't find that accurate enough for me. But yes, I know that has a strobe mode. I remember using that one. I tested that one out as well when they released it. This is the one that I gravitate to, and this is the one that I carry around everywhere I go. So this one, I want to just show you this one. It's really cool. Power button's on the top. You turn it on like this. Excuse the fingerprints. See, nice big rubber clip, does not damage your headstock. You clip it on up here, of course, so you can see it. Now you can't see it and I can. So I'll just see if they're both the same. This one says very slightly flat. Same. Pretty cool, right? You would assume that the ones that clip on are not quite as accurate as the floor one. The main thing about the floor one is on a noisy stage, the vibrations from the drummer and the bass player could cause this one to be inaccurate, because obviously I'm sitting in a silent room right now. But something like this one on the floor that you plug into won't suffer from that because the pickup is feeding the sound direct. So if you play in a band, you really want this one here. And if you mostly play at home in a quiet room, the clip-on one is absolutely fine. So let's get this in tune again. There we go. Very slight. That's gone sharp there. Like I said earlier, don't go crazy. Don't sit there all day making this thing get perfectly in tune, because you play a few notes and it's probably gonna you know, go slightly out anyway. But if you're recording, then yeah, definitely do that. Yeah, it's good. So to summarize, that's why I like it. I like the fact that it's fast at tracking. And I've even used this in the video before to practice with. Let's say you're new to the guitar and you get one of these. It's kind of cool because you can just play a note anywhere on the neck and it will tell you what it is. Look, check this out. That's an A. That's a D. That's a D. That's a D. That's a D. So you could like practice with this if you need to. You could think, right, I'll play an F. I'll play an F on every string. So that's an F. 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 I shouldn't have to look, right? That's an F, and that's an F, and that's an F. Yeah. So you can use it to find notes, or if you write a solo, C, B, A, G. So, I mean, I know that, but I imagine if you're new to the guitar, that could be really useful. I know, I often think that's a cool thing. And one more thing is bending notes, because you can see, it tracks so fast that you can see where your bend has gone. So if you bend from the 10th fret on the B string, which is that A which is in tune, to this B, right? And you can see it's slightly flat, okay? And if I go too far, you can see it's sharp. So this could be good for checking your bend. If I do this, every day I do this. See, too much, too little, you can hear it, right? But you can also play the note, of course, on another string and listen. Problem is, I can't stop looking at it. Hang on. There we go. That was perfect, right? So you can do that to train the ear. I don't know. Do you do that? I do that quite a lot. Every day I do that just to like work on my intonation and visually see it. Maybe it's not a good thing. I don't know, but. Actually, I think this guitar sounds better than that one anyway. I think this has 10 gauge strings on it, because I can feel the strings are harder to bend. But I think it sounds kind of better, doesn't it? That's a topic for another day. The string gauge used on the guitar. I've been using 9s for the last year, and I'm starting to think I should be using 10s now. But what I noticed straight away is that it's harder to bend the string, and you have to kind of re-practice your bends, because when you bend on the 9s, then the 10s are kind of slightly different, right? See, you've got to put a bit more, because I'm used to the 9s, so I've got to put a bit more strength in the 10s. Yeah, every time. Yeah. And of course, when you bend, it puts them out of tune as well. The other thing you can do is not play the guitar. just play a digital keyboard, and you never have to tune at all. Oh, we love it, don't we? How many hours do we spend changing strings and tuning strings? Absolutely crazy. All right. So, Thomas Moore said, yeah, tell me what you think. Tell me your thoughts. That's my thoughts over the years about Peterson tuners and tuning. So what are your thoughts? Tell me. I use a Boss TU2 on my board, and lately like the TC Electronics Polytune clip-on. My acoustics sound much more in tune with the Polyclip. Yes, I've tried that one too. That looks very nice with the color screen, and that is a good tuner. Now, there's some other things to be aware of. With the Polytune clip, I seem to remember you can't angle it. It's like only like one direction where you can tilt it. This one is good because it actually has a neck that angles, right? You see this? So it's the same thing. It goes back and forth, but you can also rotate the screen. I seem to remember with the Polytune, the TC Polytune, it only just goes like a hinge. So I found that to be problematic. This one is a bit more supple. No, that's what's the word? This one is easier to kind of move around. It still could be more. It still could be a full ball joint on here, but the fact that it's got the hinge and the rotation on the screen, I just find that a bit more useful. I remember the Polytune was a bit weird sometimes, the way it just came like a hinge. But that might have just been me. Beamer says, close your eyes and do it. Yeah, just listen, right? Yeah, let me try listening without looking at it. So. Sharp. That's in, right? Yes. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's bad to look at the screen. Maybe it's better just to listen. Well, of course it is. We're training our ears, not our eyes. Bimo has a great point there. Maybe listen while you play it. Maybe play the note. Obviously tune first and check intonation. Play the note. Sing it too. Good to train the voice. And then don't look at it, and then open the eyes and see if it was in tune. Should I try it now? I'm going to mess it up because I'm nervous. Hang on. I got it. I didn't get there straight away, but I could hear when it was in tune, and that really is that's really the goal, isn't it? Yeah, actually, you're right. You know, I think using both is the best BMO. So you close your eyes and play and just get a feel for it, and then you check on the strobe tuner to make sure you've got it right. I think that's a good point. Thank you. I shall try that tomorrow. Thomas Moore says, can you shut off the entire signal? Yes, you can. In the battery compartment, there's a dip switch, and you can set it. Well, actually, no. Sorry. Let me go back a step here. When you press it, it shuts off the entire signal. Okay, but there's a setting in there, so when you press it and it mutes it, it also turns it off. Because I like I said earlier, I like to have it on all the time, so when I'm playing, I know, I just like it all the time. I always think that I might be playing something, I might be playing a gig, and I could just, say the bass player is playing an E, and I could just hit like a, and check the tuning or something, or say I think a string has gone out slightly, I could just do that and just get it back, you know. I just like having it there all the time. Maybe it makes me rely on it too much when I'm doing the bending. I don't know. I just like having it on all the time. But you can choose whether it's on all the time or not. Actually, I'm liking these 10s now. Dangerous. I just bought all the 9 gauge electric, and now I'm digging the 10s on here. Look what you've done to me. Yes, Thomas, you can set it with a dip switch inside. So in the battery compartment, it does take battery as well. Also has a power out on the back, so you can power another pedal on the back, and you can set it so when you mute the signal, the screen goes off. Yes, you can do that. I want it this way myself. Bimo says you can do flattened keyboard tunings. Yes, I said that earlier on, like James Taylor. Yep, James Taylor uses a special tuning that he says is more in tune. And I won't doubt him because he's James Taylor. So yes, you can do that, and that is all built in as well. As I said earlier, I don't use it very often. There it is, sweetener guitar. All these different settings, and you can edit this on the website editor, or you can delete them. So there's a lot, and if you look at the manual, it will tell you what they all are. There's so many of them. I delete them from my clip-on tuner because it sometimes would confuse me on there. Sometimes I'd hit the button by mistake and it would change the mode, and to fix it I would turn it off and turn it on again. So I just deleted them. You can do that too. But I don't have that problem on this pedal tuner, so I just left them in there. But yeah, you could try these. I tried the James Taylor way of tuning. It was kind of cool. You see, now I've got to figure out how to get back to the first one again. It was kind of cool with the James Taylor tuning, but I'm just not going to do it because once I jam with someone else and they're not tuned to that tuning, it's going to be out, right? So I abandoned that. Oh, banjo. Uke. Violin, viola. There we go. That's the first one again. So that's all in there too, and that's very useful if you want to go use that stuff. For that James Taylor sound. Yep, that's right. So that is that's kind of it for the tuners. If anyone's got any specific questions or questions about anything else you want to talk about, let me know now, because that's really it. That's kind of a brief history of how I discovered these, how I've used them, and how I've never really found anything any better at all. And like I said, tuners now have improved. Some of the digital things you can buy have these strobe modes, but they don't have such a big screen, and they don't have a big screen that's on all the time. And even if it is, you probably want to exit out of that to use the other displays, right, for other things. So the reason I love this pedal one is you can just leave it on the floor all the time and always have access to that tuner whenever you need it. And the clip-on tuner can go around in your gig bag, and you can use it on your gigs. And if you're buying a guitar, you can check the intonation with it. And this is probably the one that I use the most, as you can see from the dirty screen, but this is the one that I've used the most. Also, despite the big screen, the battery life is pretty good. Don't leave it on, of course. There's a battery indicator on there. This one is still full. And to change the battery, you just take the back off here and put a new one inside. And it's very easy to do. It's one of those kind of CR, was it CR20? Yeah, CR2032 is the battery. So this is probably the piece of gear I use the most, actually, because I use that every single day. The pedal one I usually have on my pedal board that I just reviewed on the show, on the channel the other day. I took it off to show you, but that usually lives on my little pedal board that I use for electric guitar. Warren says it's only $199 here in Australia. It's not too bad. Well, yes, it's more expensive. I was just having a conversation with someone yesterday on my comments that Martin guitars are more expensive in England. And I said, well, it's because they have to import them over there. And I said, conversely, Warren, a Maton guitar is more expensive over here than it is in Australia. I guess when they ship things around, they have to pay more money, right? So I don't know. Look, that's not cheap. I know that's an investment for a tuner when there's digital pedals that do a lot more than tune for that price, Warren. But I really, I think if you're serious, if you're recording in studios, I really think it's worth it. And if you're not ready to make that commitment, then buy the app, buy the iPad or the iPhone. I'm not sure about Android, but buy the iOS app and test it out. That will use the built-in microphone of your device. It might not be quite as accurate, but it will give you a flavor of how it works and what it looks like. And I do use that sometimes when I'm traveling around on my phone as well. So I would check that out first. Thomas Moore, sorry, he just says, how does it compare to the phone tuner and the Line 6 Stomp tuner? So the phone app I just mentioned is very good, but it's using the internal speaker. I think there is an attachment you can buy that clips onto the guitar, but actually I've got that, but it's got the different kind of port than my phone has, so I haven't used that. It's good. If you're in a quiet room, it's good. And if you're not, like I said, if you're not ready to make the investment to buy the physical product, I think it's cool to test the app out. The app could be like a backup for you, and it'll give you a chance in a quiet room to test it and see if you think it's worth it. And if you enjoy the app, then you can buy the physical thing. I probably do that if I was new to these. But just bear in mind, I don't think the app is as good as the pedal or the clip-on tuner. I personally don't, but I would get one to test. They used to make a computer version as well, which is no longer supported, and I really want them to bring it back because I would love to use the app on my computer. I'd love to have a software version on the Mac that I could load into Logic. I really hope they bring that back. I would pay for that because I want a good tuner at all times when I'm recording. Warren says the clip-on, this is Australia by the way, is $90. We know we're going to pay more for USA stuff. Okay, yeah. Everything from USA and Australia is much more expensive. I hear that all the time. And I think $90 is good. I think if I was you, Warren, I would get the clip-on version. I think the pedal one, if you've got a serious pedal board or you do a lot of setup work for people, then this one here is excellent, of course. But if you're traveling around teaching, playing gigs, the clip-on, unless you play on very loud stages, the clip-on one is probably the way to go. Can you see it in the sun? I love these questions. They're all very practical. When I have the few times I played outside the last couple of years, especially since 2020, yes, you can. It's a very big screen. Look, here's my hand. It's a very big screen. Here's a pick. It's a very big color screen. Yes, I think you can see it outside, but your mileage may vary depending on the kind of sun that you have. No, I'm just kidding. So the Peterson clip-on might be easier to use in the sun. I don't know. No, I can't really tell you. I don't play outside very often, but the screen is big and easy to see. That's all I can say. And I just realized that it matches the color of the room, which is nice too. And it says only play at night. Sorry, Thomas. No, I get it. If you're playing outside, these things are important. I agree. And oh yeah, how does it compare to the, what did you say? The Line 6 stomp tuner. Okay, we'll talk about that for a second. Warren Graham says, I hate my Line 6 tuner. My Helix just not as accurate as the Peterson I have. Well, here's the thing. When the Helix first came out, they didn't have the strobe mode. Remember, strobe mode may or may not be a real strobe tuner, but it's a mode. And when the Helix first came out, it didn't have that. And the previous mode they had, I thought was terrible. Some people now like it and still use that, but I really didn't like that either. Then they added the strobe mode, which I thought was much better. And I do think actually it's very good. I haven't done a comparison. I don't know if, I do a lot of comparisons on my channel. I haven't compared tuners. I haven't really felt the need to because I always use these ones. I mean, like with the Voice Live 3 Extreme, I used a built-in tuner at a live gig. It's fine. I don't have to use a strobe tuner, or I'm not that obsessed. I just think these are great. If I'm recording, like I said, doing a setup, practicing, I always use the strobe tuner. And I usually have the strobe tuner with me at a gig, but I've actually found the old TC one in the Voice Live 3 to be okay. I've got no problem using it. I've got no problem using the one in the Helix, but the problem with the Helix is, and this really frustrates me with the Helix, you've got this fantastic screen on the Helix or the Stomp or whatever, but you can't have the tuner on while you're playing. You have the tuner can come on and you can tune, but then once you exit from the tuner and you don't have the tuner anymore, when the tuner's on the screen, you can't have the sound of your guitar. So you can't play the gig with the tuner on the screen. The Kemper has an always-on tuner, and the FM3 from Fractal has an always-on tuner. But the Quad Cortex and the Helix do not have always-on tuners, so I would always take one of these as well. And that's another reason why I built my own pedal board, because I want to have this on my pedal board at all times. I really, for me, the looper and the tuner are really important. And the tuners and the loopers and the digital pedals are not well thought out at the moment. Hopefully that will change in the future. That's my rant anyway. So that's another reason why these tuners are so important to me, because the tuner is often overlooked in the other devices. Thomas says, is it true you need a strobe like that to get the most accurate intonation? If I do it on the snark or boss, it's not the same. Well, yeah, maybe I should make that video where I compare different tuners. A $5 tuner to a $50 tuner to I mean, I don't know. Is that a good video to make? Would anyone watch it? I don't know if they would. I can't really answer that. Who knows how important any of this stuff really is. To me, I just like to know that I've used the Peterson. I know Peterson are the original. I know it's fast. I know it's accurate. And I just like to know that my guitar is tuned to a strobe tuner. That might be incredibly snobby of me, but at the end of the day, I am the original soundhole sniffer. And I guess I also sniff tuners as well. But of course, if you're going to set up a guitar, you want to set it up with the thing that's the most accurate. And the most accurate thing is a strobe tuner. I don't think anyone can deny that. I'd like to take this around. I'd like to find someone with perfect pitch and see if they can sing that E perfectly in tune. Like someone with perfect pitch, like Rick Beato. Sing me an E. And do you think it would be that in tune? I wish I had perfect pitch. Do you have perfect pitch? I wish I had it. Doesn't it sound great? It just sounds... It sounds good. Warren says, I would definitely watch and recommend it if you did the comparison video. Okay, I might do it. I might grab, I don't have any, that's the problem. If I could find, maybe I'll get the cheapest tuner on Amazon and compare it to this. I don't know. I probably won't do that, Warren. Like I said, it's not just the accuracy, it's the speed. When you're tuning up on stage, you don't want to be waiting for the string to register. Look, there's your E, there's your B, there's your G, there's the D, there's the A, there's the E. And I know these polytune things and that are very impressive and fun, but I actually find this faster because I can just... You know what I'm saying? Those polytune things are cool, they're really impressive. But what's happening is, I don't think they're as accurate. In that poly mode, they're not as accurate as a strobe tuner. They have a strobe mode, which is basically doing this. But in the poly mode, it's not as accurate. So what you end up doing is getting it there, and maybe it's close enough, maybe it's not. But then I would personally then go back and play them individually anyway. So what's the point? I was going to say I'm not knocking it. I kind of am. It's not for me. I like this because I can just, like I just did, I know I can be perfectly in tune by going, yep, or if I'm in the studio, if I'm live, this is fine. On the screen, that's fine, right? If I'm live. But in the studio, if I want to be perfectly in tune, right, this is what I would do. Did you time that? How fast was that? And that is perfectly tuned, every string to a strobe tuner. Done. I just can't imagine doing anything else. What do you think? Look. Oh, Thomas, you're mean. You got it. It's just that G, isn't it? It could be me. I'll bend it into tune. I can just imagine Joe Pass and these people like fixing the tuning as they play anyway with their ear, just like making adjustments as they're playing. I mean, like I said, we can drive ourselves crazy with this stuff. I don't want to drive myself crazy. I want to play the guitar. I'm just making the point that these things are fast, they're very in tune, they're great, they're solid, you know, they're reliable, and they'll get you as in tune as anything else will out there. Of course, then it comes down to you. How good is your guitar? How well is your guitar intonated? How good is your ear? And how good is your technique? Because obviously if you play the chord and you bend the strings, it's going to be out of tune anyway, right? So there's a lot to this. All right. Let me just go back to the chat. Oh, hi Amanda, how you doing? Good to see you here. Warren says I have unperfect pitch. I was just watching a video the other day, and they were teaching you how to tune a guitar. It was one of the famous YouTubers, and he was saying, think of a song and memorize that E, or something like, memorize like a famous riff like that. So da 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 da. And then when you tune your guitar, you can sing that. If you sing that every single day and make sure you're in tune, like tomorrow you could try to tune your guitar by thinking of this note, this sound, and tuning to that sound, and then tuning the other strings like that, and tune the guitar. That's something I'd like to work on. I'd like to practice that. I don't have perfect pitch, but I'd like to practice singing a single note to the stage where, say, tomorrow I could tune the guitar without a tuner and get it almost perfectly in tune. That would be a really good skill to have. It's something I'd actually like to work. I was going to do that as a video, maybe, like for the whole week, see if I can do that. I think that'd be a good skill. Yes, Andertons did that video. The boss was, it came out not in tune. Ooh. Okay. Actually, it would be fun, but I'm not going to buy a bunch of tuners to test them. But that would be a cool video, maybe, then. I'll think about it. No perfect pitch, says Gary. Dan says, my first tuner was a pitch pipe. Yeah, but probably good for your ear. I've always used digital tuners, probably bad for my ear. When you have to tune to a sound, it really helps your ear training, doesn't it? So that's probably a good thing. Thomas Moore, that looks easier to use than I thought with the dial slowing down. Yep, like I said, a lot of people get put off with these strobes. So that is slightly flat, okay? Because it's turning to the left, so you just turn it up. Oh, I'm turning the wrong one. There we go. Now I'll do the E then. Now it's gone sharp. Always tune up. So it's flat, now it's in tune. Yeah, it just takes practice. You get faster at it as you go. I'm not going to show you my chord of the week. You have to guess it. Name that chord. Yeah, name that chord. Here we go. It's good, isn't it? I can't imagine being much closer than that. That's good. Gary says the Peterson strobe is great for setting intonation. Yeah, that's right. I said that earlier on. Yep. If you're doing setups, then get the strobe tuner. I wonder what Phil McKnight uses. I wonder if Phil uses a strobe tuner for his setups. That would be good. I must ask him. Thomas Moore, play it. Okay, I did that. Yes, it wasn't perfectly in tune. But that's the guitar, isn't it? Guitars are not perfectly in tune, whatever you do to them. Bimo says, I have my own version of perfect pitch. What's that, imperfect pitch? Sorry, that was a joke, Bimo. Thomas Moore, polymode gets confused a lot. Exactly, that's why I don't like it. Yep. You get used to using strobe tuners too. You get a feel for turning the tuning machines and watching the display. Yes, Gary, I said the same thing. You just need to take time, practice with it for just a few hours and you'll get it fine. Amanda says, that's great. Warren says, I love the tone of that guitar. If you want to sell it. This has a lot of sentimental value. Do you want to hear the story of this guitar? Now, in my the cat is meowing. In my time of guitars, I've had many, and I've sold a lot of guitars. I do go through a lot of gear, probably too much, more than I should do. It's a reason why I've started the channel, and I wish that I documented some of those instruments before, when I didn't have the channel, because I had a lot of cool stuff. This guitar is one that my mother brought back from America when I lived in England. I just knew I wanted a guitar like this. I didn't really know much about guitars at the time. I think that time in your playing life is the best time. And I just wanted a telly like this, and she brought it back from Pittsburgh. And it was from Guitar Center. She just grabbed one from Guitar Center. And that's the only guitar. This is a Mexican deluxe Telecaster. It's the only guitar that I've kept. I want to have at least one sentimental value guitar, right? And I wanted to use it. It didn't sound that great. So what I did was I had Evan, my Guitar Tech install these Lola pickups. The pickups cost as much as the guitar. But my goodness, they sound great. Check it out. It's all about the pickups in these guitars, right? They're so important. Really cool. Actually, yeah. I'm a bit frustrated tonight because I've realized how bad this Strat is behind me. I might have to either take it for a proper setup again. That'll be the third time I've had it set up. Or I might just, I know, I might retire it. I'm just annoyed with the intonation on that guitar. This is great. You're right. I should use this one more often. This is very cool. And these Lola pickups are really cool. I love the simplicity too. Just one pickup, both pickups, or one pickup. Very simple. Great fat sound. It's got a big neck. Not really a big fan of big necks. I don't want to go down the rate of changing the neck as well. It's a little bit heavy, all that kind of stuff. I'm not a fan of the 70s headstock, but the pickups are really good and it sounds really good. So I will use it some more on the channel. So Warren, this is one guitar I've pledged to myself never ever to sell. This is the guitar I've had to sell all my electric guitars. I would keep this one simply for that reason that I told you about. Bimo says hi. She says hi back. Dan says hi. Glad I could catch you live. Thank you. I just started doing these shows on a Thursday night. I often do Sundays at 4 p.m. to play songs and Mondays at 4 p.m. to discuss Martin guitar. These Thursdays are a new addition. But thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Thomas Moore says, I have the phone Peterson. Yep, I have that too. I was saying it's good. It's really good. It's a great place to start because it's affordable and it's a great thing to carry around at all times on your phone. At the same time, I believe these hardware versions are better. If I had to recommend something, I would recommend the clip-on tuner. I think this is the one that everyone should have. And then if you have a pedal board, this is the second one that you should get. Thomas Moore said, I used the strobe phone Peterson to intonate, but I don't think it's a real strobe. I used to have Acon strobe and that was great. Yeah, the app uses a microphone. The app is not as good as these ones. If I was setting up the guitar, I would use this one on the floor because you can plug into it. You're getting that direct signal, the best quality. And Gary says, the Peterson strobe clip tuner works well too. Yep, that's my favorite one. Bimo says that's a Maury chord. No, that's my chord. He took it from me. Actually, he took that from Tommy Emmanuel. No, I took that from Tommy Emmanuel. I love that even on the neck pickup, it's not kind of crazy bright, right? This humbucker is quite kind of warm. Really nice, very nice. Amanda says, ask Phil. Yes, I will. In fact, I will super chat him on Friday and say, Phil, I talked about tuners this week on my Thursday show. What do you think, or what tuner do you use to intonate guitars when you set them up? I'll do that. Watch out for my question. Thomas Moore says, Bookervac uses his Peterson but said Vince Gill tunes in fifths and it's work of art how Vince tunes. Yeah, look, this tuning a guitar and the way a guitar is built and the way you tune like James Taylor, etc. That's a whole series of videos right there and not something I'll be making at least in the near future. I just simply wanted to show you what my favorite tuner was, but of course that's a whole new level there, like how you tune, what you tune to, whether you use the sweetened tunings in here, put your own sweetened tunings in, you can do that too. That's a whole new ball game. For me, it's about a good set of fresh strings, stretch them in well, tune with this tuner, stretch them in again, tune with this tuner, check the intonation, and that's a great place to be. People have often said to me they appreciate my videos because the guitar's in tune. Well, I use these tuners and I try to make sure I keep tuning throughout the video because I don't want this to happen. Hi, my name's Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. You hear that a lot in videos, don't you? It's not good. And if nothing else, hopefully today has shown you how quick it is to tune with the strobe tuner, because I've been tuning pretty quick, haven't I? Yes, Thomas, we said that earlier too. Always taught to tune up, not down. That's why they call it tuning up. Listen back to the start of the video to hear the John Mayer story. It's kind of cool. Warren likes the guitar. BMO started on trombone, so I can tune up and down. Is that a joke? Dad of New Jersey says tellies are great. Yeah, but this isn't. When I think of a telly, I think of the yellow butterscotch one with the lipstick pickup. That's not what this is. This is like a. This is a humbucker guitar, and the weird thing is, right? These are humbuckers, aren't they? And they were very expensive, but they were very noisy, despite being humbuckers. They were really noisy. So Evan actually shielded these inside as well. I didn't think you'd have to do that with humbuckers. So I don't know, but now as you can hear, it's not too noisy. Let me see here. That's on distortion now. The interesting thing is there's no noise in the neck position. There's some noise on both of them, of course, because then there's noise on the bridge position. I don't know why that is. Let's listen. That's silent. That has noise. That has a little noise. Isn't that weird? The neck position has no noise. Interesting. I don't know why, but I thought maybe these are not true humbuckers. Maybe they're like P90 style. I don't know, but they've definitely gotten better since they were shielded. But I don't disagree. It is a cool guitar. I like the Korg tuners. Yes, I do have that tuner. Do you want to do that test then? I have this one. I do have this on my desk because I bought it for a project and it wasn't the tuner I thought it would be. But it is kind of cool because you get this kind of you see that? It's like one of those toys you had as a kid, that kind of 3D. Wherever you look, it's like 3D. Look at that. It's fun. It's fun. Okay, I'm going to test it. So what I'm going to do is, just on one string, I shall tune on the Korg, and we'll see if it's in tune on the Peterson. Here we go. Now, can you see what's happening? Well, I'm not plugged into it, am I? That's why. It's jumping all over the place because I'm not plugged into it. Let me plug into the thing because it's not fair. If you don't plug in and you're using the built-in microphone on some of these things, they just can't. They can't keep up. Okay, let's tune with this one. I just don't find that screen as easy to see though myself. Obviously, when it goes green, it's in tune, but I don't like that. I mean, maybe I'm not used to it. Okay. So I presume that's in tune, right? So then what I'll do is I'll plug it into the other one again. And let's see. Let's see if it's in tune. Slightly out. Enough to worry about? Probably not. But if they're all slightly out, could be a problem maybe, especially if you're intonating. Let's see. I know I'm being really fussy here. That's in tune. So that was the thing. That actually was very impressive. But the problem I have with that is that line doesn't really show you how in tune it is. So if you were slightly flat on one and slightly sharp on the next and slightly flat on the next and slightly sharp on the next, then I think the whole thing would be slightly out of tune. I don't know. That's up to you to decide if it's worth it or not. But with the Peterson, look, I can see, straight away I can see exactly what's going on. So, but yeah, that was good. But I didn't find it as fast either. That screen to me is not as clear. Once you get used to the way this one rotates, it's so easy to see exactly what's going on. Like that is in tune, slightly sharp, right? That's in tune. It's I don't know. I guess I'm more used to this one as well, to be fair. But yeah, the Korg one is good, but that would be a good video to actually compare them all 3 times and take an average and see which one is the most in tune, and to find out really which tuner is not in tune. It might be more interesting. Gary says the Peterson is easier to read. Yeah, I felt so. And even though the Korg was in tune, I didn't trust it because when it went green, it still had some travel either way. So I didn't really know if it was just luck or if it was actually in tune. With the Peterson, I can see everything. I can see that it's really slightly sharp. Really slightly sharp. Doesn't really matter, but that's up to me to decide if that's sharp or not the tuner. So that was cool. Fairly close, a bit flat. Bimo says bye-bye. Amanda says it's bedtime for little ones. Have a great stream and I hope to catch you again. Bye, Aaron. Chat. Have a great rich day. Thank you, Amanda. I'm wrapping things up soon anyway. This is the stream on the tuners has actually gone. Warren says he's going to steal my guitar. I could never do that. I've had 2 guitars stolen. Sorry to hear that, Warren. And please don't steal my guitar. I know you're kidding. Thomas Moore, you want one of these? Well, Fender just released them. Fender just released a new version of this with a similar style pickups. It won't be the same as the Lollas, but it might be lighter. So you should check it out. Actually, I'm going to take a quick look at it now before I say goodbye. It's the Fender Deluxe Telecaster. I'm going to see what they look like now before I say goodbye. I'm curious myself. But yeah, I hope this was useful. All I can say to you is I'm a big fan of these tuners, and I think if you're looking for a tuner, you should, and if you want my advice, then this is the one to get. I'm looking on Sweetwater. They have it's called the Fender American Professional 2 Telecaster Deluxe, and they have a really cool color one as well. Let me show you. I'm going to bring it up on the screen. I don't know how we got talking about tellies, but I think that's a cool thing to talk about. So I'm going to show it to you before I say goodbye. But maybe next time we'll just talk about guitars actually. That could be cool. So this is it on Sweetwater. And yeah, those pickups will be different to mine, but I'm sure they're still good. I'd have to try them. The saddles are different. And it's got a rosewood, or mine's not rosewood style fingerboard, which I really like. That interesting color as well. Not sure what the weight is on that. It's got the sculpted heel. Mine does not. This is American, of course. Mine is made in Mexico. So it'd be cool to try it. Mine looks like, actually I don't have one like mine, but mine's got the maple fingerboard. These ones have rosewood fingerboards now. Yep. That's the Dark Knight one. That's kind of cool. Yeah, mine is more like this, but mine is black. I think mine looks better, actually. I think mine is a good guitar. I'm not sure what the weight is. Of course, like everyone else, they don't have anything in stock right now because everyone's back ordered, but it'd be interesting to know what the weight of these guitars is, because mine's got some weight to it. I have played it at a gig. It's not been a problem, but it has got some weight to it. Still got the 70s style headstock. It's pretty similar to mine. Oh, let's check out the reviews, what people are saying about it. Thin tool fret training. Oh, it's got split coil on the neck and bridge. Mine doesn't have that. I'm seeing like a single coil on the neck. Okay, well anyway, whatever. I'll have to try one of these because I'm interested in that. But I do love mine. But yeah, like I said, mine has been upgraded. I don't usually like to change pickups and things on guitars, but of course I did that with mine because I wasn't very happy with the original pickups. I can't even remember now what they were like before, but it's cool. Actually, yeah, I'm glad we did tonight because it made me realize that this guitar needs a setup, and it made me realize how great this guitar sounds. So that makes me that was a good thing for me. Thank you. It does sound great, doesn't it? I'm glad this happened today. I get to play this guitar more often. Very cool. Thank you. So that's it. It was going to be a short stream. It was the longest, but I do think Peterson are great. I know them well. They're a great company. These products are excellent. Like I said, there's few products that I use every single day. Of course, one is my iMac, and the other one is something like this Peterson tuner. So that's why I think it's a good investment. Although there's cheaper tuners out there, the fact I use this thing every single day means it's paid for itself more than once. If you want to get one, my affiliate links are below. If you want to use them, I'd appreciate it. Have a look around Sweetwater. Maybe one week we'll just look around Sweetwater at guitars. That could be fun. But yeah, click down there, and then anything you purchase within the next kind of few days, I'll get an affiliate for. So I'd appreciate the support. Thanks for watching. Once again, no show, no concert on Sunday. Just this week, I have a gig. I won't be here. So I will see you next Monday if I don't see you in a pre-recorded video before. So have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks for hanging out. It's really great for me to just chat and hang out and hear from your thoughts as well. I learn a lot from doing these streams. That's one reason why I like to do them as well. It's really cool. So have a great day, Warren. Have a great day out there because it's now the morning. So enjoy the day in Australia. The pic says, I just got one of those strobo stomps. Excellent. And do something. Plug in the USB and go to Google Chrome and go to the firmware updater. There may be a new firmware available. So definitely do that. If you own one of these Peterson products, you update the firmware through their website extension in Google Chrome. If you go to the site, it tells you how to do it. Definitely do that because the latest firmware is always the best thing to have in my experience. Cheers, Dan. And also one more thing, if you're new here, please subscribe and ring the bell. I really, really would appreciate it. And yeah, have a great week. I'll see you again real soon. There you go. Yep, awesome. All right, I'm going to get dinner. I'll see you next time. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Meet me at the station at midnight. Wear your high heels, your red dress, and your smile. You look just like this other girl I knew. She was beautiful. And if you want to, maybe we can stay alive.